Good afternoon and welcome to a magnificent and sun-drenched San Paolo Stadium in Naples. Today a new Serie A season gets underway and later on we'll be bringing you live action between Napoli and Sampdoria. What with the opening day upon us, this morning's papers feature the edifying sight of Milan coach Fabio Capello touting his team as potential winners of a third consecutive league title. Whoever wins this year, we feel sure that it'll be a much tighter affair than last season when, if you remember, Milan dominated from week one. They weren't the only club, though, to get success last year. Here's Kenneth Worstelhome.
Welcome back to Serie A, the greatest league in the world. Last season we brought you some of the finest action and the greatest players you're ever likely to see. Last year, like this, we began the action with Sampdoria, who along with Lazio got the season off to a flying start.
And you'll see this man Mancini involved in all the set plays. He's got a great footballing brain, Mancini. Right across the area, and is it an own goal? Has it gone over the line? It has! And it's a tight atmosphere in the stadium. And a very tense one too. Here's Signori, and it's a goal! Signori has made it two. At least let's put it back to 1-1. I beg his pardon. There's a sudden break there, Signori into the far corner. Rufus has kept it in. Signori! And another one! Two goals in the space of 3 minutes, and it's Signori again. And there's Jukovic. Oh, what a goal! Jukovic has been very impressive. Not only the goal, but everything he's done, really. He's surely now Brackley appeals for a penalty, and it's been given. Well, that looked a dive to me, and that is what Brackley is saying to the referee, who is not interested. He's getting set for the lead. Who's there? Oh, the back header's gone in! And it's an own goal.
Who said Italian football was boring? The opening weeks of 92-93 saw Serie A go goal crazy. Nearly 200 in the first 6 weeks of competition. Starring in that frenzy of attacking football, Milan. Unbeaten in 91-92, the champions got off to another flying start, completing the first half of the season unbeaten. Indeed, by January, it appeared Lo Scudetto was a foregone conclusion. Milan were 11 points clear and scoring seemingly at will.
Red card. Here's Van Basten. He's created a little bit of space, and he's created a goal.
Papin, oh, he's through here. Is this another one? It has to be. Jean-Pierre Papin, 2 goals in 2 minutes for Milan.
Fiorentina have conceded a lot of space in midfield and in defence. Lentini, that's 2-1 Milan.
However, behind the scenes, things have started to go wrong. Marco Van Basten, the side's main source of goals, sustained an ankle injury which will keep him out for the next 5 months, while the 3-foreigner rule had caused a morale crisis. World-class players such as Bullitt and Papin were regularly on the bench, and they were clearly unhappy.
No, non è venuto come pensavo prima, sono venuto qui per giocare in questa squadra, ma quando sono venuto non pensavo che c'era ancora 6 stranieri. Rimano ancora un anno a Milano e se la situazione non va meglio vado via.
The cracks began to show. By the second month of 93, only Sebastiano Rossi stood between the champions and their first defeats in nearly 2 years. 2 crucial penalty saves kept Milan on course. The turning point came in the semi-finals of the Italian Cup. Defeated Roma, their first in over a year, clearly shook the champions' confidence. 10 days later, Parma took full advantage.
Spria will take it. Oh, what a free kick! That's a brilliant strike by Spria.
Milan's first league defeat in 58 games. Suddenly, anything seemed possible, and Inter took the hint.
Ruben Sosa now. Lethal from long range. Shooting chance for Sosa! What a strike! Well, he's in such a rich vein of form. And that was a cracking goal from Ruben Sosa. Julio Cesar. Dreadful mistake. Off goes Sosa again. The warning signs are up once more. Fontelan. And support arriving through from Shalimov. It's a second goal for Inter.
The tables had turned. For the next 5 weeks, the pattern continued. Milan on the ropes, Inter in irresistible form.
Casagrande. The two combining well. Casagrande now threading it on. And a chance here. And a goal. We'll see.
Rubin Sosa now. Well, that's a great strike for Rubin Sosa. Another goal for him. Berti. Sosa! 2-0. And the only option is to take on the Sampdoria defence single-handed. In by Schillaci, 1-0 to Inter. Sosa. Only Schillaci and Sosa up, but Berti's arriving now. He was the decoy man. This is Schillaci, who's already scored and now has two. Shalimov. Berti, he took it in his stride. Away from Viekovov and past Pagliuca.
It'll be Sosa with the kick. Chipped in and a goal! Berti! Approaching the last minute of the first half. And here's Hullet in space now. A shooting chance! And Hullet scores! It's 1-1. Well, there's won it back for Juve. Now Baggio. Brilliant work by Baggio. Sprinting away from Baresi, away from Rossi. Oh, such composure shown at the finish by Baggio.
The situation was there for all to see. Milan without a win in 7 games, while in the same period, Inter had dropped just 1 point to Milan. Now the gap at the top was down to 4 points. But Inter began to feel the pressure.
Branco with a free kick. Panucci! 1-0 to Genoa. Rubin Sosa standing over the ball. He's done it! It is Maniconi. D'Agostini. Sosa. Still Sosa. 1-0. Piagioni. Petrescu. Roy! He's equalised! And Inter's championship hopes have been punctured by Brian Roy.
Failure to beat two of Serie A's strugglers looked to have cost Inter their shot at the title, and Milan were back in pole position. 4 points clear with 2 games left. They just needed a point against relegation-threatened Brescia.
Albertini. That's a good strike. Oh, and a fabulous goal. There's a different atmosphere now. Look at the Brescia players pouring forward. Brunetti. And he has scored. The final whistle has blown, and Milan have retained the Italian championship. Well, it was that fantastic start to the season by Milan when they simply roared into their stride, that paved the way for this title. And although it's gone a bit sour in the last few matches, well, that doesn't matter now, because the title is theirs.
So a second consecutive title for Milan. But the rest of Serie A were far from hopeless. Juventus won the UEFA Cup, a first major trophy for Serie A's Player of the Year, Roberto Baggio. While Parma, after only their second season in the top flight, won the Cup Winners' Cup. In Rome, Paul Gascoigne's Lazio made it into Europe for the first time in nearly 2 decades, and they had the top striker in Serie A, Beppe Signori. And Inter, runners-up to their Milanese neighbours, clearly had plenty to build on. After the break, we'll be taking a look at the situation in Serie A this season. The big transfers, the new faces, and the likely contenders to challenge Milan for Italian football's ultimate prize, Lo Scudetto. And there's the English connection. David Platt and Paul Gascoigne talk exclusively about their hopes for the upcoming campaign.
Don't go away.
Welcome back. We've just looked back at some of last season's greatest moments. Time now to look forward to the upcoming campaign. As we've seen, 92-93 saw Milan score their second consecutive Serie A title. They've now lost just 2 league games in over 2 years. Although they're title favourites, those in the know are predicting a far tougher time for the Rossoneri this time round. Despite securing the services of Danish midfielder Brian Laudrup and Romanian striker Florin Raducanu from relegated Fiorentina and Brescia, the heart of one of Serie A as the season begins. The dreadlocked midfield duo have moved on. Rijkaard back to Ajax and Hullit to Sampdoria. Van Basten is again sidelined by injury and is unlikely to play again this year. Add to that the absence of new signing Cristian Panucci, injured in pre-season training following his move from Genoa, and the loss of the world's most expensive player, Gianluigi Lentini, to a car smash which nearly cost the winger his life, and Milan's problems are there for all to see. Across the city, Inter have been strengthened by the multi-million-pound signing of the Ajax duo, Dennis Bergkamp and Wim Jonk, and are favourites to end their Milanese neighbours' league dominance. Indeed, their coach, Osvaldo Bagnoli, has been drooling over his new signings' pre-season performances. But Bergkamp and Scalacci forging an immediate partnership. Add to that, an injured Ruben Sosa waiting in the wings, a midfield featuring the talents of Berti, Bonk, and another new boy, the ex-Udinese star Francesco Dell'Agno, and last season's runners-up look a formidable proposition. However, their final preparations were shaken this week. A 3-0 friendly defeat at Lazio, which included a goal for Gaza. Bagnoli admits that he's worried. Among the other contenders, you can never discount the challenge of Juventus, although there have been some discontented rumblings pre-season. Roberto Baggio and Gianluca Vialli, the golden boys of Italian football, have expressed dissatisfaction with what they see as a negative transfer policy. And the grand old lady does appear to have tightened the purse strings. Their major signings are limited to a defensive pair of Genoa's Andrea Fortunato and Atalanta's Sergio Parini. However, Juve's form in warm-up games has suggested coach Trapattoni was right not to tinker with his attack. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Juve's city rivals, Torino, have been spending heavily. Coming in, stopper Angelo Gregucci from Lazio, midfielder Marco Osio from Parma, and the Uruguayan striker Enzo Francescoli from Cagliari. Coach Emiliano Mondonico investing in a side which is hoping to repeat last season's Italian Cup triumph on the European stage. Joining Torino in the Cup Winners' Cup are Parma, who won the trophy at their first attempt back in May at Wembley. And one of Serie A's greatest success stories looks set to run and run. In the close season, the billions of lira provided by club sponsors Parmalat have been put to good use. The Napoli midfield pairing of Zola and Crippa brought in for the best part of £10 million, an investment which makes Parma perhaps the outside bet for Lo Scudetto. Parma fans can also look forward to no less than 6 local derbies in the coming season. Making up a 4-club axis in the country's Emilia-Romagna region, 3 of the clubs promoted from Serie B last season. Cremonese, who like Parma were Wembley winners in '93 in the Anglo-Italian Cup, were one of Serie A's founder members. They've been division hopping ever since. Little Piacenza made it into Serie A for the first time on the final day of last season, a tremendous achievement after just 7 years in Serie B. This year, expect a fight for survival. Reggiana, despite winning the Serie B title last season, will also settle for survival in the upcoming campaign, but on average gates of just 8,000, it'll be an uphill struggle. The final promotion place is taken by Lecce, who became Serie A's most southerly club, rejoining the top flight for the 5th time in their history. Replacing them in Serie B, Pescara, Ancona, Brescia and Fiorentina, all of them relegated. As always, the promoted clubs are favourites for relegation. But also under threat are Udinese, who survived via a post-season playoff last time. They can hope for a little better this season, particularly following the loss of last year's star, 22-goal striker Abu Balbo. He moved south to Roma in a package deal which saw Andrea Carnevali move up to Udine. Across the Eternal City, Roma's neighbours Lazio have been spending heavily as well. Dino Zoff, after last season's fine showing, was rewarded with a fresh set of funds, and he spent wisely, shoring up an often precarious defence with one of Italy's top keepers, Luca Marchigiani, and one of Serie A's most promising young fullbacks, Paolo Negro, from Brescia. Zoff extended his attacking options as well. Coming in, Fabrizio Di Mauro from Fiorentina and the Italian international striker Gigi Casiraghi from Juventus. In all, that's the best part of £15 million worth of new talent. Lazio looking a good outside bet for the title. However, preparations have been dented by an injury which could keep last season's record-breaking capocannoniere, Beppe Signori, out of the season's opening exchanges and delay the renewal of his international partnership with Casiraghi. Another note of worry for Lazio have been rumours of yet more problems with the man the fans consider the club's saviour, Paul Gascoigne. We caught up with Gazza earlier this week to get the truth behind the speculation.
People always talk about weird. I mean, the thing is, I could have said to the journalists, you know, everybody in England, well, look, why don't you get the copies of your newspapers 5 years ago and 4 and 3 and 2 years ago? Because you've wrote the same thing for the last 5 years, and then when you come to do well, once the season starts, he's back down, you know, they have to sell the papers. And no doubt I sell them for them, which, you know, it doesn't bother me now. But what I have done is because, you know, the same things, people say, I won't help you, but I have now banned myself, no one else, but from speaking to the press, English and Italian, and the TV for 1 year, which I will do and I'll stick by. Obviously, I speak to Channel 4, and my contract then like this, I can get across what I would like to say. And the rest, I'm just hoping let me do the talking. On the England front, we play Poland, which is very, very vital to us. We're at Wembley, and we hope we have a full, for me, a sellout. And I can tell you now, you know, I've spoke with the boss, I've spoke with Laurie McMenemy, and no doubt the guys are ready to go. And it is important for us that we do get the cup, the 2 points, very, very important. And let's hope everyone's in the right spirit and the right frame of mind. And we give everyone at Wembley the boost we need, and that is definitely 2 points and a great performance.
So a relaxed Gaza, itching for the fight with club and country. Lazio begin their campaign against Foggia tonight, but the game we're focusing on is Serie A's clash of the day, Napoli against Sampdoria, where the England captain David Platt makes his debut for Samp, the side he joined for £5 million in the summer.
I said when I first came that I'd only been here about 3 days, something like that, but it felt as though I'd been at the club for such a long time. I think probably got something to do with the fact that 2 years ago when I went to Bari, they were talking about a possible move to Sampdoria. It didn't materialise and I did go to Bari, and then even last year when I went from Bari to Juventus, there was still Sampdoria were in the wings there, and if that move to Juventus wouldn't have come about, then I would probably have come here to Sampdoria. I'd been speaking as well on the pitch a few times to people like Mancini when I was at Bari, to people like Vialli and what have you. So there was like a good feeling really between Sampdoria and myself even before I moved here. Sampdoria, when they won the league and then got into the European Cup final, for instance, they were a tremendous side, but their efforts in the European Cup competition of that year kept them out of Europe by eventually losing against Barcelona in that final. They hadn't concentrated enough on their league position and they were out of Europe. Again, last year they missed out on Europe by 1 place. But with the arrival of the players that have been bought here, plus the likes of the players that were already here, the likes of Mancini, Lombardo, Vierwood, Manini, there's a great many international players here. And then there's the likes of myself, Ivani, Hullit, who've arrived. We see no reason why we can't get into Europe this year. And I mean, that is at least our aim. The aim is to get into Europe. Anything else that comes along is a bonus.
We'll be taking a closer look at what to expect from Sampdoria and all their new boys in today's live clash at Napoli. That's after the break.
Welcome back to the San Paolo. As you can see, a very healthy crowd developing here. The club were hoping for around 50,000 and they may well get that, although the attendance has almost certainly been hit by the poor performances here last year and by the absence of a big off-season signing. Napoli, in fact, have had to beg, borrow and steal their new players from around the rest of Serie A. Here's Kenneth now with a lowdown on the new Napoli team and their opponents today, Sampdoria.
This afternoon's match in Naples is a mouth-watering prospect, which brings together two teams that have changed dramatically over the summer after a disappointing time last season. Napoli and Sampdoria, between them, have won 3 titles and 2 European trophies in the last 7 years. But last year, they both finished the campaign empty-handed. So it's time for both clubs to start again and try to rediscover the form that brought them glory. Napoli's problems haven't been restricted to the playing field. Following their worst league finish in nearly a decade, the South's Premier side are experiencing crippling financial problems. Season ticket sales are at an all-time low, and there were even rumours that the club's municipally owned stadium would be closed for the season if some 10 years back rent wasn't paid immediately. But that threat seems to have been averted. That is the situation that forced them to sell their most influential player, their midfielder Gianfranco Zola, to Parma. A bitter indication of how badly things are going for a side who were champions just 3 seasons ago. The sale of Zola has given the new man in charge, the ex-Atalanta coach, Marcello Lippi, the modest means to strengthen the Napoli squad. And he's shrewdly managed to find 9 new players who will be wearing the sky blue shirt this season. Chief amongst these latest arrivals is the wingman Paolo Di Canio, who has joined from Juventus, but only on a year's loan. Lippi's other big pre-season signings, the striker Renato Busso and midfielder Eugenio Corini, are to all intents and purposes reserves, who were unable to command a regular place last season with Napoli's opponents today, Sampdoria. The Genoese side's visit to Naples makes for an intriguing curtain raiser to the new season. Sampdoria, champions in 1991, have had a disappointing time, beaten in the European Cup final and failing to qualify for Europe in both 92 and 93. But their coach, Sven-Göran Eriksson, has been rebuilding, and the side which starts this season's championship has the look of real title contenders. Coming in from Milan, the Italian international Alberigo Ivani, and a man who needs little introduction, Ruud Gullit. The Dutch superstar, instrumental in Milan's greatest ever successes, fell out of favour to a mystifying extent last season, particularly considering his contribution when called upon. So one of the game's legends allowed to move on, and following Gullit's starring role in a pre-season win over the champions, Milan may yet have cause to regret their decision. Joining Hullit in a side which includes the talents of Attilio Lombardo, Vladimir Jugovic and the incomparable Roberto Mancini is the England captain David Platt. Platt grabbed the opportunity for a fresh start, and his first impressions of life at Samp are more than favourable. 12 months ago, Platt's England colleague Des Walker was saying much the same thing. But after a desperately difficult first season in Serie A, Des returned home in the summer. The import of fresh blood and proven talent has certainly created a new air of self-belief around the Sampdoria training ground. This afternoon, Napoli provide the first test of that newfound confidence. In the 72 Serie A meetings between the two clubs, their records are pretty even, with Sampdoria having a slight edge on their hosts. When these two sides met last season, it was Sampdoria again who came off best. They first tangled in Genoa in week 10, and the home side won easily. When they met again in April, a struggling Napoli earned themselves a draw. A look at last year's final table shows just 4 points and 4 places separating the two teams, with Sampdoria pipped for a UEFA Cup place by Cagliari, Napoli finishing a mere 2 points above a relegation place. The Neapolitan side may be racked by internal problems, but their fans are amongst the most fanatical in Italy, and a packed Sao Paulo stadium will be urging their heroes to put the difficulties behind them and put Sampdoria in their place.
Don't go away. Napoli-Sampdoria coming up live.
Welcome back. Well, it's a sweltering 83 degrees out there as we wait for the game to take place. Those of you with accurate timepieces will have realised by now that it has, of course, gone 3:15 and the game hasn't started yet. Well, there is a reason for this. The kickoff of all of today's Serie A games has been delayed by half an hour. This is in protest from the Italian Players Association against the Federation, who have basically failed to intervene, they say, in a couple of recent takeover cases where new owners of clubs have failed to safeguard players' rights. Well, in the meantime, just an opportunity to update you on a couple of pieces of information. First of all, team news. Napoli will be without their star striker Daniel Fonseca today. After recovering from a kidney stone earlier in the week, he's flown off to join the Uruguayan national team in their World Cup qualifications. They'll also be without Ciro Ferrara, the defender and captain, who's off suspended. Now, despite both of those absences, bookmakers both here and in England have made Napoli favourites to come away with a home win. So Paul Hardy would be the man who would take a crisp 10,000 lira note on air and stake it on Sampdoria to come away with a surprise away win. However, that is what I'm doing. I wonder if Ray will take me up on that. Things are about to get underway down there. So let's go over to our commentary team, Peter Brackley and Ray Wilkins.
Thank you, James, and a very good afternoon to you all. A warm welcome to the new season. So optimism abounds then in the city of Naples. The championship talk, and rightly so, is of Milan, Inter, Juve, perhaps even Lazio and Parma. But in the heat of the Sao Paulo stadium today are two teams whose aspirations are also high, bearing in mind their pedigree of recent seasons. For Napoli, it's the first chance to reassure their disgruntled supporters, really, that there is life, not only after the mercurial, if wayward, Maradona, but also now Careca and Zola. Napoli's financial position is pretty disastrous, as we've been hearing there, so there's been little money to invest on replacements, and their cause are certainly hindered today by the loss of Daniel Fonseca, such a vital player for them. He's away on international duty with Uruguay and may well be unfit anyway, so I don't think he would have been in the starting lineup. He didn't feature at all pre-season, so they've had to make tactical plans without him. at Napoli. Well, once again, Ray Wilkins is alongside me in the commentary box today, so welcome to you, Ray. And first of all, a word on Queen's Park Rangers and on your nose. You've broken your nose again.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Well, the first time, Peter. Good afternoon, everybody. It's nice to be back on the old Italian football. Looking forward to a fantastic season. Yes, unfortunately, I suffered a broken nose yesterday, but the 3 points was more than compensation that we picked up at West Ham. We had a good performance there. So we're really looking forward to our game on Wednesday evening. But this does look a very interesting confrontation. It's nice to see the Sampdoria side there with Ruud Gullit, our own David Platt, and for me, one of the best players in Italy last season, Mancini, in their lineup. The supporters of Napoli would be very disappointed, especially at the going of Zola. Zola is a very, very creative player, and it just goes to show that although Parma are considered a very small side in Italy, or a small city, they've gone and picked up one of the finest playmakers in Italian football, and they should do very well on that front. But this should be an excellent match.
And just a quick word on the scene generally in Serie A. Milan, of course, are the reigning champions, going for 3 in a row. How do you see it shaping up?
Yeah, well, they've lost Gullit, obviously, to Sampdoria. Rijkaard's gone back to Ajax. Van Basten won't be planned for another couple of months. That's going to be very difficult for them. I think for them to win 3 on the turn is going to be extremely difficult. I don't expect them to win it this year. Juventus have been reinforced, Inter have been reinforced, and I don't think we can write off Sampdoria or Parma to come in with a late challenge.
Man in charge today is Pierluigi Pairetto from Torino. Bright sunshine in Naples. And the two teams preparing then for the kickoff. Certainly very much a new look Napoli side this season, including a new goalkeeper they have in Italia. He's replaced the veteran Galli now with Torino. Just looking here at the Sampdoria side, Kaliuka back at goal after his car accident at the end of last season, which kept him out of the last few matches. And many of the old faces still there, but of course Lana has gone, and also Des Walker. Now here's the Napoli lineup. Bia, who's come from Cosenza, via Parma that is. He was part of the deal that took Tripper and Zola to Parma. Also Gambaro has come from Milan on loan. Various other new signings as well, which I'm sure will be revealed as the match progresses. I think that Jonas Tern, the Swede, will be playing in midfield. His second season with Sampdoria, with Napoli rather. And it's Sampdoria who kick off in the all-red strip, attacking the goal to our right. Wearing 7 there, Lombardo, familiar figure. And the Sampdoria side, indeed the only ever present in the team last season. Lombardo again. First free kick of the game in favour of Sampdoria, who finished 7th. Agonisingly missing out on the UEFA Cup place. Napoli back in 11th position. In fact, we're only 2 points clear of the relegation zone. Now Mancini lining up the free kick. He will be involved in all the set pieces. Such a creative and imaginative player. And there the first save of the game. David Bannon got a header on there. And the save by Taglialatella. Mancini with the free kick. Curling into that penalty box. Vani has come from Milan on loan, another really useful acquisition by Sampdoria, along with Ruud Gullit. Gullit going in there, but away by the Napoli defence. Will be marshalled around Taylor, their veteran defender. Mancini, positive start by Sampdoria. Of course, featured in our opening game last season. An exciting one it was too, a 3-3 draw. There were early goals, so don't leave your options. Foul by Policano on Lombardo. Mancini again with the free kick. Gullit has come up, of course. David Platt in there too. And a miscue away for the corner.
Again, though, Peter, an excellent crossing from Mancini. Napoli shouldn't really be giving, or looking to be giving, too many free kicks around. You see precision across that Mancini puts in, he's definitely around those areas. And they've got to be very, very careful. He's a very talented player. With obviously the use of the free kick, he can put it where he wants to put it. It's a good start from Sampdoria, very bright.
It was actually Beer, one of the new defenders, who sliced the ball away for the corner, so it was a nervous start by him. Mancini with the corner. Again, curled over tantalisingly into that penalty area. At the moment, Napoli can't get the ball out of their own half. Here's Hullet. Sniff surely at £1 million by today's prices. Plenty of football at this fellow yet. 31 in September.
Yeah, definitely a slip. You look at him, magnificent condition as well. Probably relishing the fact as well. New season, new club, great start for him.
Injury-free at the moment anyway. And there was Hullet. Didn't make contact there with that one. Lombardo most certainly did. Came back off Pollicano. The break on though for Napoli. Also going down, playing against his old club then, Sampdoria. Didn't really feature in any prominent way at all in Genoa. Still to make his mark in the Italian game, having entered it at 16 with Juventus.
But obviously a player well respected by the Sampdoria players. When Busso broke there, he had about 3 or 4 of them chasing him. They obviously know that the talents that he has, and given a free run on goal, he could cause a lot of problems. We've seen him score a number of goals, and he obviously is a very talented forward.
Here's Di Canio, on loan from Juventus. So they have some familiar names in their side now, Napoli. Di Canio, very useful capture, dangerous winger, and finally ran out of patience with Juventus, who he felt didn't give him sufficient opportunities. Out goes Jonas Turn, former Benfica player. Didn't score last season. Some useful performances from him, but didn't get his name on the score sheet at all, and that will have been a major disappointment to him. Very adventurous player, Jonas Turn. But no question at all, Ray, that Napoli are going to miss Zola and Correca, of course, who was so important to them.
Oh, no question about it. And obviously with Fonseca not playing today as well, it's a big blow to him. But Zola is a tremendous player, and Correca obviously is very talented himself, but Zola was the playmaker, creating so many chances and also a taker of chances as well. They will really miss him, and I think it's going to be a long, hard season for them.
Here's Lombardo. Now Hullet. David Platt, who will have a central midfield role, and that really was what persuaded him to go to Sampdoria, rather than perhaps Lazio or one of the other Italian clubs. Big season this for David Platt. Now Pollicano.
The difficult thing for Napoli, Peter, is the fact that they've got so many new players playing in the team. It's difficult enough to start a new season with 1 or 2 players playing in your team, but when you've got 5 or 6, it becomes very difficult. People don't know other people's habits, they don't know where they're moving, and it becomes very, very difficult, and it's going to take a while for them to get associated with each other.
And we're hearing of the first goal of a new Italian season. It's scored by Andy Muller of Juventus. So he wins 700 bottles of wine, I think it is. It's not a bad prize, right?
Very nice too. That'll last him a week, Peter.
Juventus at home to Cremonese. Gazza a couple of days. Only joking, Gazza. Pollicano goes down. Free kick to Napoli. Pollicano, a robust player, who thought might have played further forward in this game. No sign of that as yet. Of course, with Fonseca out, they've had to improvise. Free kick to Napoli. Canio may have brought down. Here's Di Canio now. Pollicano in pursuit. Napoli now beginning to find their feet after a cautious start, and the early flourish coming from Sampdoria. Perini with the corner. Too long, though. And a lot of these players in the Napoli side only joined them really fairly recently, so they haven't had too much time to practice things on the training ground either.
No, and it's quite evident watching Peter. I think that's the fourth dead ball situation that Napoli have had, and 3 of them have gone astray with actually no one within 20 yards of them. In contrast, we've seen Mancini on the ball on 3 occasions from dead balls, and they've been very dangerous on every ball. It's vitally important that someone gets on the ball that knows exactly what's going on. And, it's quite evident that Napoli haven't really got anybody at this moment in time.
Here is Marco Rossi, one of the new Sampdoria players this season. Came from Brescia, who of course were relegated. It was a problem spot for them, the left-back position at Sampdoria last season. There's Policano winning it in the air to no avail. Of course, they played Des Walker there for a while, Ray, and that really didn't suit him.
Well, it didn't, and I think Des would still be in Italy had he played in his correct position. It's obviously, I'm delighted to see him back and playing in our football, but I'd love to have seen him still out there for his own good. He really, it was the stage for him to make sure that he was a world-class defender.
Way by Bia. There's Policano. Rossi. Young Bucchioni, who's 20 years old, playing at the back for Sampdoria this season, referred to Sacchetti, who's among the substitutes. Lana having moved to Roma. Now Ivani. His progress curtailed by injuries last season for Milan. Didn't play as often as he would have liked. 16 years service to Milan.
It's a big season for Ivani. He's an exceptional player, and obviously with injuries and not being able to get into the Milan side this season, it really is a big season for him. If he stays clear of injuries and plays the majority of games, I think we could see a very, very good Sampdoria.
Bondin with the pass. Not a good one, though. 10 minutes gone. Manini taking the throw for Sampdoria. Back losing out. Forward by Jonas Turn. It was Ivani who was in the way. Seems to be operating in the central role in midfield, Ivani. He did on occasions for Milan. Turn blocked by Bucchioni, who's come up through the youth ranks at Sampdoria. Policano. Now by Jugovic. Serbu hasn't really got into the game so far. Second season with Sampdoria. And the first one was quite a successful one for him. He scored 8 times. Fair return from a midfield player. He cut faster Italian football. Up comes Ivani. Here's Lombardo. Mancini. Turn.
We were talking before the game where we thought Hulit might play, Peter. It does look as if he's going to play in a more advanced role with Mancini up front. I personally like to see him up there. I think he's a fabulous player to watch, and obviously with his heading ability as well. It could be very interesting with Mancini.
I think The coach feels Sven Goran Eriksson that he can play anywhere, and even before he might have operated in the sweeper role, which I feel would have been a waste.
Yeah, it would have been a waste, but he can play there. I've seen him play there on a number of occasions, and he's, as Eriksson quite rightly says, he can play anywhere on the field that he wishes. He's that talented. But it's nice to see him in attacking mode, and hopefully we'll see him very prominent this year in the Italian football. It's been a good start by Sampdoria. They've taken the game to Napoli, and Napoli look a little bit dishevelled without Zola and Careca. It's going to be a tough afternoon for them, but up to now I think Sampdoria have settled down very nicely. It looks like it's been a very entertaining match.
Jugovic, player injured. They've got an elbow there from Buzo. Yeah, he looked that way.
Yeah, he definitely caught an elbow in the face there, but it was nothing intentional. Both players jumping to win the ball, and unfortunately he copped for one on the side of the face.
And you know how that feels at the moment?
Yes, it's not very pleasant.
So Pagliuca taking the free kick then for Sampdoria. Up towards Hullet, so powerful in the air. There he is again. Maybe Pat well forward on that occasion.
I think the way they're playing Sampdoria, it's an ideal situation for David with Hullet and Mancini up front. They'll leave big gaps for David to actually burst through the middle from that midfield role that he likes.
Better out was from Layla. Bia, known as the Franco Baresi of Serie B last season. So we're looking forward to see what he has to offer. For Cosenza.
Taking up a marking role though, Peter. Obviously with the Franco Baresi that we know and love, the old sweeper, Bia has taken up a marking role with Naylor playing spare at the back.
Free kick then for Sampdoria, to take it by Evani. Hullet almost on the end of it. Back in by Manini, and here's Hullet. And Naylor to the rescue for Napoli.
Lovely skill though, wasn't it? The ball whipped into the edge of the box. There wasn't a good ball from Manini, but Hullet dropping it through his legs, that was great skill. He's a little bit unfortunate he didn't get the rub of the green.
Showing that Vignon has scored on his debut in Serie A for Inter. So they lead Reggiana, last season's Serie B champions, by a goal to nil. Inter, in many people's eyes, the favourites for the title. Well, Napoli penalised. Cameo the offender, much to the dismay of the Napoli fans in the stadium. There are rather more of those that we anticipated a short while ago. Such has been the disenchantment with Napoli pre-season. The arrival of Di Canio has helped, actually. I think on the day they announced he was coming, 3,000 more season tickets were sold.
Yes, he's very talented. I don't think Juventus used him as much as they might have done last season, but he really is a good player. And hopefully if he gets a run, I think it's quite important for a lot of these players to keep inside and get runs going. And when they're coming on every 10 minutes of every third game, it's not very good for their confidence, and it's not very good for their technique either. And once they get a run, I think we'll see the best come out of the likes of Di Canio.
Yes, he always seemed to be a substitute whenever we featured Juventus. Came on to good effect in some games. A very tricky winger. And a creative one on his day. Now, Ionesta trying to create something for Napoli. Surely a chance here. Busso! Well, did he just take it too far? Pagliuca furious with his fellow defenders there. There's definitely a chance for Renato Busso against his former club.
I think his defenders might be a little bit disappointed with him. I thought was going to play this slightly earlier. But as he knocks it in, it's a fabulous ball. And I thought the goalkeeper should have got that, Pagliuca. There he goes, he hesitates, goes to the floor, and Busso just puts it past the post. It was a good opportunity for Napoli. Great football.
Much lifted the crowd spirits, no doubt about that. After the early questions being asked by Sampdoria, that was a very positive reply now by Napoli. Busso, who had so few opportunities in the Sampdoria side. In the first season, Vialli, of course, was always preferred to him. And even when Vialli had gone, they still didn't seem to be able to fit him into their system last season. A let-off for Sampdoria. Now, Policano. He's found a bit of space here. Bia in attendance. Good tackle too. Found that one perfectly. On then from Jugovic, and there's Hullet again. That looked full of running. Very fresh. And what an asset he promises to be for Sampdoria. Rossi. The game's livened up a little now. And Rossi to plant it forward again.
Yes, that one little flurry seems to have lifted Napoli, doesn't it? They seem to be flying all over the place now, getting behind each other and supporting each other. And that's nice, that's good for the game as well. We heard James say before the kick-off, it's 83 degrees and it's going to be difficult conditions for players. The pitch looks very bouncy, and very hard, so they're difficult conditions.
It's Caparo marauding down the flank. Former Milan player. Said after his first game of friendly for Napoli, he had more touches than in the whole 2 seasons with Milan. Didn't get too many chances in their Serie A side. Parma have taken the lead against Udinese. That's Melli with the goal there. And it's Atalanta 1, Cagliari 0. It's Capello with a goal there for Atalanta. Here's Hullet posing problems again. Surrounded by blue-shirted defenders. Rini on from turn. Good first-time ball. Bia. Now looking for Busso. Poor service though. Marini. Oh, a bit ambitious. Almost a bit balanced Pagliuca there.
Goodness, that must have been 45 yards to hit that from, and it just hit that dusty patch in front of Pagliuca. That could have caused a lot of problems.
He had to be at his most alert then, Pagliuca, the #1 goalkeeper in Italian football, hoping to retain that first choice jersey with the World Cup approaching. Although Italy, of course, by no means certain to qualify. Almost at the halfway stage in the first half. There goes Policano. Pagliuca having to hair out of his goal again. Policano just offside. He certainly is playing in an advanced role now, Policano. And he featured in that way in some of the pre-season matches when Fonseca was away.
Yes, he's an exceptional striker of the ball, Pete, isn't he? We've seen him hit loads of goals in Italian football. It does appear that they pushed him up further forward on the left-hand side. But he does strike the ball very well.
Tagliatella with the clearance. Giovanni Galli, the former Milan goalkeeper, was the first choice last season, of course, with Napoli. Is now with Torino. It's Mancini. Released by Franchini, captain of Napoli. In the absence of Ferrara, who is suspended. Jakovad still going strong at 34. Now Jonas' turn. They're off by Busso. Poor distribution though by Turn, only finding Lombardo. Here's Hullet. Releasing the early ball, too long for Mancini.
Again, though, Peter, we've already seen in this game from Busso, Mancini, from Hullet, the way they run off the ball. Already we've seen 2 or 3 examples of great breaking off of people's shoulders, great running off the ball.
Good skill there too by Policano. No way through. There's a slip here by Rossi, but he kept his cool well. Now David Platt. was linking with Hullet. Good intercepted by Bordin, former Atalanta player, following the coach Marcello Lippi, who's come from Atalanta, to take charge of team matters at Napoli. Although Bianchi, the man who led them to the '87 title, is still with the club, now as general manager. They are doing well. On from Pollicano. Busso in pursuit. And away from Puccioni. It's a great turn. And a foul by Puccioni.
Oh, word, that was a great turn. We had a great shot at that as well there as he turns away. Puccioni getting a little bit too tight. There he goes. One of his old sparring partners, and he pulls him down for a free kick.
Carini will take it. The other former Sampdoria player in the Napoli side. Busso in that 6-yard box. Aliuka fisting it clear, but only as far as Turn. And not a bad effort at all then by Jonas Turn. And Aliuka scattering back.
I think I stated before, the ground does appear to be very hard and the ball doesn't seem to come down for Turn. It's a good strike by him, but as we see it bounce, he's just that little bit too high for him, and he's putting it over the top. But he's doing well, Turn. It's important in Naples when you play against Napoli. It's very important that you keep the crowd quiet, being the opposition. And once the crowd gets going, it can be a frightening place to play, and it really does pick the home side up.
Rossi. David Platt. His 3rd season, of course, in Italy. Following campaigns with Bari and then Juventus. That goes forward in. Just caught then by Lombardo. Big season this for Lombardo, Ray, with the World Cup up and coming.
Yes, that's right. It's very difficult for players. They have one really good season. Obviously, the opposition aren't going to let them get away with all their tricks they showed the year before, and they tighten down and they make it hard for them. And I suppose in many games we saw last year, Lombardo was quite disappointing, but it is a big year for him.
Promising attack here from Napoli, and they force the corner as Di Canio goes down. Shoved there by Rossi. Himself will take the corner. 25 minutes gone, no goals.
Sorry, Peter, game rather wasted, that corner. They're not actually getting good enough ball in from these set pieces on Napoli.
That may be why there have been no goals. Manini. Naylor is the last man. Former international defender who came last November and certainly helped to shore up the Napoli defence, which had been leaking too many goals. And of course, they were flirting with the possibility of relegation for most of the season, really. Di Canio, Turn. Spia. Started impressively, now Bordin. Gambaro. By Carini to Turn. Napoli's confidence is certainly growing after the early stranglehold from Sampdoria. Now Busso. Manini.
That was good play from the two ex-Sampdorian players there. Carini with a fabulous ball over the top. Again, one of those really good runs from Busso, and they get a corner. That was good football.
Carini will take the kick. Useful ball in as well, and it's Hullet back there defending. Much more purpose about Napoli's game now. Up forward by Naylor. Mancini. Here's Rossi. Ivani. Rossi searching out Hullet. Three covering defenders, though, for Napoli. And away by Gambaro.
And Napoli have definitely done their homework. Franchini's policing Mancini all over the field. It's quite evident that when Mancini clicks, Sampdoria click, and he hasn't, in open play, actually had hold of the ball yet. Franchini's marking him very tightly indeed.
Certainly Sampdoria will have their eyes on Europe at the very least this season. As David Platt was saying beforehand, maybe a top 3 place. The feeling is the league is going to be a lot tighter this season. Milan not so strong, Inter very strong, Juventus, Parma, Lazio as well. Maybe the likes of Sampdoria could squeeze in amongst them. Sneaking feeling for Roma too, Ray.
Yes, I think it's one of the more open championships that we've seen in a couple of years. Milan, I don't think are as strong as they were, and everybody does seem to reinforce themselves. It could be a really interesting championship.
Di Canio popping up on the left, not successfully. Lombardo closed out very quickly by Gambaro. Here's Carini now. Neat touch from him, Gambaro. Now, what support does he have in the middle? Up by the towering figure of Rossi. Busso. The long legs of Rossi, enabling him to clear.
That's what they do very well, Italian defenders. They prevent crosses going in very well. Rossi wasn't prepared to dive in. He wasn't going to go to the floor and allow him to cross it. He stood up and he defended very well.
Stretched out almost lazily there. Turned with the throw. Hooked up by Di Canio. Good football by Napoli. Di Canio couldn't get away though from Rossi. He's begun his Sampdoria career in confident fashion. Djokovic. Politano getting back to Lombardo. Gambaro. Politano. From a Roma player. Very strong going forward. As we were saying earlier on, a really powerful left foot too. Carini. Di Canio with Bia. Instant return pass. Now Busso. Politano, Di Canio, stopped by Manini. Effective approach play then from Napoli.
Yeah, beautiful football, Peter. That one-two touch, you can't beat it when it's moved around like that. And the movement off the ball was excellent as well. That was really super football from them.
You can hear the reaction of the crowd. They enjoyed that. Out in the end, Carini starting to pull 1 or 2 strings now for Napoli. Over that number 10 kid, of course, from Zola.
He's a very gifted player, Carini. He was, correct me if I'm wrong, he was the under-21 captain of the Italian side, and he just couldn't make the breakthrough at Sampdoria and keep a permanent place in the side, but he does have a lot of talent.
Made off by turn to Politano. Sloppy defensive play by Sampdoria. They've got away with it, though. It shielded it so well. Time here for Naylor. We were talking there about Carini. He featured early on in the season for Sampdoria, and then we left out for about the last third of the season, really. It's a great touch off. Gambaro. There's danger here, surely now. Again, just too many defenders for Sampdoria. Pass, leaving much to be desired.
Yes, it was a dreadful pass into the box, but Busso, having laid off such a fantastic pass, really didn't make any efforts to burst into the box and get on the end of it either. And Napoli, again, Sampdoria, I think, had 5 defenders back and not anyone trying to break up that rhythm, and Gambaro was left on his own to just smash the ball idly into the box, really. It was quite poor attacking play, and Busso should have made more effort to get in the box on the end of what was a fantastic flick of his.
Manini. Out by Bia, but to no effect. And here's Hullet. Glorious skill by Hullet. And it's gone in. The whistle has gone, and they're celebrating the goal. I thought for the moment he'd seen an infringement, but David Platt has scored. Well, everybody seemed motionless then, and Sampdoria celebrate the goal on 32 minutes.
That's fantastic play from Hullet. We can see I think it's Franchini facing up to him, but dives in. He shouldn't dive in on Hewlett there, and look at his vision, look, just lifting the ball over the top. And there's our own David Platt with a fabulous header down onto the floor and inside the near post, giving Tagliatella no chance whatsoever. Yeah, he's got him in a good place here. Hewlett's not going anywhere, but he dives in and makes Hewlett's mind up. No need for it. He's got to stand on his feet. That's a good ball to the back post. Very important that when players get in those areas like Hewlett, that you actually pick out players. And we saw Hewlett there as he went past his defender. He looked up and saw Platt on the far post and picked him pinpoint right on the old head, and David did the rest.
Well, that's a cracking start to the new season then for David Platt. Here's Hewlett. It's a foul this time. Well, certainly there seemed to be some confusion among the Napoli defenders as the ball sneaked in at the just by the post. I thought for a moment it got into the side netting.
You don't really get much of a reaction when you're away in Naples, Peter, when the ball goes in from your team. They don't really go too kindly when goals being scored against their side.
Well, his turn now. As Napoli endeavoured to bounce straight back. Rossi, though, with time to clear.
Again, I think we could see, though, 5 against 1 in the defenders' favours in the box. No one's making the effort to get up and support those good moves which Napoli are putting together. Quite a shame, really.
Manini, tackle it by Gabbro. It was actually Gabbro who lost Ruud Gullit for the goal. Already the exquisite skill of Ruud Gullit has paid off and led to the opening strike from Sampdoria. And here he is again. Halo with the back header.
Yes, I must apologise to Franchini. I thought it was him that Hewlett went past, but it was, you quite rightly pointed out, it was Gabbro. And that's lifted Sampdoria. You can see there's an extra purpose about it. There's another guy that started well. He's going to pick up a very silly yellow card. But it has to be said that Rossi has started the game very well. In an area where Sampdoria really struggled last year, left full back. He seems to be the answer.
It's Turn who played the ball through. Di Canio impeded.
Yeah, Di Canio played a good 1-2 on Rossi, but I think it was Viakovic who was covering around. There was really no need to grab hold of him.
Padovano has equalised for Reggiana, so it's now into 1, Reggiana 1. Ivani. 10 minutes of the first half to go. This is Rossi. He's found support now with Gullit. It's a good strike too, and the goalkeeper with his body right behind this one. I wonder if on the goal rate, maybe the goalkeeper thought that one was sneaking wide of the post. He seemed to get down very late.
Yes, he did. He didn't get across his goal that quickly, and David just headed it down. And the ball actually bounced up a nice height for the goalkeeper, but he was too late in getting across. Here we see Hewlett lining up that shot. It's a great expectation every time he gets on ball. Tagliatella making a super save, but Hewlett was absolutely disgusted with himself that he hadn't done better. We talk about players hitting the target from distance, and Hewlett did exactly that. But a player of his quality is obviously not too happy unless he sticks it in the back of the net.
Well, I think he felt he was a bit hard done by at Milan over the last couple of seasons when he wasn't the automatic choice. He certainly had been. So he'll feel he has a point or two to prove this season.
Oh, well, that's better for us as well, because we're going to see him a lot more, aren't we? We don't want to see him sitting on a substitute's bench, and it's nice to see Hewlett playing. He looks in great form.
Di Canio. Up and over, but up fairly by Manini. Looking quite lively though, Di Canio. So many strangers in the Napoli side. Haven't really got their act together so far. 1 or 2 anxious moments though at the back for Sampdoria. Di Canio, and there's the old head Manini bringing him down. This in the past is the kind of situation for which Napoli was so dangerous with Zola, and before that Maradona, Correca around as well. They've all gone. So maybe Turn might have something up his sleeve, or Pollicano, who can blast them from here. Carini there as well, wearing 10. And the referee in the way of Di Canio. Nothing the referee could do there. Di Canio looks disgusted, but can't really blame the ref.
They've obviously worked on a few set pieces, Napoli. We saw one beforehand. Got the header in at the back post, and that was another little intricate bit of play around the edge of the box. They're not the tallest side in the world, so they're a bit low to stick the ball in on the high.
Carini with the corner. Aluka stayed on his line. Now has a comfortable catch. I don't suppose already when they worked on the set pieces, the referee was with them.
No, exactly, Peter. Don't take that into account.
Lombardo, released by Gambaro. This is Carini. Way by Vierkovot to Lombardo. Now Jugovic. Here's Lombardo. Such a hard-working player, Lombardo. Didn't have his most consistent season in the last campaign by any means, and didn't feature in the Italian national team at all, but we'll hope to this time around. Naylor. He was in the World Cup squad of '86. Which you'll remember, Ray, I'm sure.
Yes, for mixed reasons.
Right. Here's Bia now. Given away. The move was carelessly broken down. He comes flat. Now Jugovic. Bullet hit support. At Lombardo. Such a difficult player to dispossess, Rudhulit. So strong as well as skillful. And Audit had to resort to bringing him down illegally.
I thought it was a little bit unfortunate, Peter. I thought he makes a good tackle on him there. He plays the ball. It taking far too long on the ball, and I thought Audit made a good challenge.
Yeah, we go along with that.
This is very dangerous. Again, we see Mancini, the only time he's touched the ball, he's taking free kicks, but he delivers them so well. And this is a very difficult situation for Napoli.
Naylor organising the ranks at the back for Napoli. Mancini. Hoping to find Hullet. Gambaro skidded away from him.
But again, the area in which he actually played that ball was a fantastic area in which to hit a free kick, and it's I think Sampdoria should have someone on the end of that. That really is a good area in which to place that ball.
5 minutes of the first half to go, and it's Carini now then for Napoli. All read by Vierkovot. Yeah. Giovanni to Hullet. That's made the forward run, or rather Rossi here. Napoli covering though. Gambaro. Now Pollicano. A little burst of speed. Couldn't get away from Manini, but he was impeded.
Yes, he was impeded. That was the old head of Manini there, just stepping across Pollicano as he plays it down the line. Good play from Pollicano, using his pace and using the air in behind the defender. And defenders don't like that ball pushed past them and raced into the corner. Manini just stepped across and body checked him.
Di Canio. Tentative touch though by Busso. Rather nervous one really. Out by Naylor.
I think that sums Napoli up at the moment, Peter, nervous. They've lost that goal and they seem to have gone to pieces of it. Turn's gone right out of the game. It'd be nice to see Naylor get a grip of someone and start to make them play. He's been around a long while, as Naylor. And it's at times like this that you need the older head to get hold of the game and help out the younger guys.
Lost their way, nearly lost their ground too. Financial problems they've had at Napoli. And there was a suggestion at some stage they might have to move grounds because they got behind with the rent, but they managed to resolve that one. So at least they're able to play in their own stadium in front of their own fanatical fans. Fanatical but volatile fans, and if things aren't going their way, they show their disgust as well. Bocchioni. Bullet. Couldn't shake off Bordin. Carini. Villa. Now Di Canio. Now he's had the pace here to make inroads into the Sampdoria defence. Busso. Di Canio at Policano, hoping to profit.
Very intelligent player, Busso. He's made a lot of really good runs. He's playing up there all on his own. He's made a lot of good runs against Vieckwood. It's not easy player to play against him. He's found himself in a lot of space at times through his own intelligent movement.
On by Bia. Now Rossi. That's Ivani sprinting ahead of him. More patient build-up though by Sampdoria, hoping to benefit from that run through then by Ruud Gullit. Gambaro, neatly away from the challenge of Lombardo. That won it back though, now Lombardo. And Gullit, and it's a second goal. Another goal for Sampdoria, and Napoli in disarray there by the thrusting nature of that attack.
Yes, just ripped apart, Peter, and who else was going to score that but Ruud Gullit? I actually thought Lombardo looked suspiciously offside when receiving the ball, but he got his head up very early. Nice ball into Gullit, and again he hit the target, but hit it very hard. Here's the ball going through from Jugovic. I thought Lombardo may have been slightly offside. The ball comes in, got his head up very well to pick Gullit out, and there he goes. He strikes it on goal, and Italia didn't really have much chance in the goal. There it is, hitting the target again. A lot of pace on the ball, and it just flies in off his body.
So Ruud Gullit has made one goal and scored the other. A really positive start to his new career in Genoa. Napoli 0, Sampdoria 2 into the last minute of the first half. Vieckwood powering forward now. He's got Gullit up with him too. And Bordin with the saving tackle, saving intervention. Napoli, Lombardo laid on the pass for Gullit to score.
We just saw there the prime example what I talk about when I'm talking about people running off the ball. You see Gullit running very narrow to Vieckwood, and at the last moment made that terrific run over the back of Bordin. Bordin defended very well in actual fact, and or should I say, it wasn't the best of passes from Vieckwood, but the run was super, and had a more technically gifted player been on the ball than Vieckwood, I think we could have seen goal number 3.
Certainly Sampdoria taking charge of this game now, thanks to the goals from first David Platt, then Ruud Gullit. Ruud Gullit, who scored 7 times last season in just 15 games for Milan. And already he's on the score sheet in the new season with his new club. Lombardo. Mancini. A good catch then by the goalkeeper, who's not had too much good fortune on either goal. Maybe got his ankles wrong on the first one, and the second one certainly squirmed off his body into an open goal. Now had a minute of injury time. Ball played forward by David Platt. It's Naylor for Napoli. We've got an awful lot of work to do now to retrieve this situation.
They've actually been in a number of good scoring opportunities, but as I said before, Peter, if you're not going to get players diving into the box, you're not going to get people on the end of crosses, and they've been in a couple of good positions, but they just need to start pushing forward, pushing people forward and getting into that box and having a few cracks at Pagliuca.
Certainly missing Fonseca up front. 16 goals from Fonseca last season in what was a campaign of some turmoil for Napoli. A lot of talk certainly during the summer that Fonseca would move on, but they managed to keep him, but away on international duty today, and his absence is proving costly. Napoli really up against it now. Sampdoria leading at half-time by the 2 goals. First David Platt on 31 minutes, then Ruud Gullit a couple of minutes from the break. And appreciative applause for the Sampdoria side. But, well, I don't think the Napoli fans have been too pleased with what they've seen so far. Generally, I think a feeling looking back on those first 45 minutes, Ray, that well, Napoli not exactly letting themselves down, but certainly haven't posed enough problems for Sampdoria, have they?
No, that's right. They don't get enough people in the box. They don't get the ball in the box enough. And I think it's pretty evident to see that with the amount of players or new players that have come into the outfit, that they really haven't got that cohesion yet. I think the 2-0 scoreline is a fair assessment of the first half.
So don't forget, as always, we'll have competitions for you throughout the season on Channel 4's Italian coverage, a chance to win a trip to Italy, and there'll be more on that after the break, so join us again.
Welcome back to the San Paolo. Of course, the half-time score here, Napoli 0, Sampdoria 2. The first goal scored by David Platt. A nice way for the Englishman to celebrate his arrival at the Genovese club. And then, of course, Ruud Gullit following it up a couple of minutes later and really taking the wind out of the Napoli fans' sails. Well, things not going too well here in Naples then. Unfortunately, the scoreboards here at the San Paolo Stadium aren't working, so the fans here haven't had a chance to follow the action from around the rest of the league. We, of course, though, have been keeping up to date, and here is a list of the complete list of the half-time scores. Atalanta 2, Cagliari 1. Genoa 1-0 up against Roma. Inter 1-1 against Reggiana. Juventus 1-0 against Cremonese. Lecce 0-0 against Milan. Napoli losing 2-0 against Sampdoria. Piacenza 1-0 up against Torino. And Udinese 0 against Parma, who scored 1 goal. And just one other result there is the Serie B game that you might be interested in. Fiorentina playing against Palermo, leading 2-0 at half-time. Right, well, that's the half-time score so far. We'll be coming back with the second half later on, but first of all, it's time for the first competition of the 93-94 season. A chance to come out here and join me at a Serie A game here in Italy if you can answer the following question.
Competition time here on Football Italia, and your chance to win an all-expenses-paid trip for 2 to watch a top Serie A game later this season in association with Alitalia and Italia Tour. Today's match features David Platt and his new team, Sampdoria. They are his 3rd Italian club. He was transferred from Juventus for £5.5 million during the summer after just a year with the Turin Giants. But with which club did the England captain start his Italian career? Was it A, Cremonese, or B, Bari? When you've made your choice, ring us on 0891 114411. The first correct caller picked out by our computer when the lines close next Thursday will be flown out for an all-expenses-paid trip for 2 to a top Italian match later this season. Remember, full details of all our competitions are on page 365 of Fortel, Channel 4's teletext service.
Welcome back to the San Paolo. Sampdoria leading 2-0 against Napoli, of course, here. And just time, in fact, to clear up a bit of confusion over one of those half-time scores. Torino are 1-0 up against Piacenza, and not the other way round, as I might have suggested earlier. Well, back now, in fact, to our commentary team. The second half is about to get underway. Let's rejoin Peter Brackley and Ray...
Thanks, James. And as we await the arrival of the two teams for the second half, a chance to look back with Ray, what's his name, on the on the first half. I think certainly Sampdoria and their coach Sven-Goran Eriksson, who may be under a bit of pressure at the end of last season to hang on to his job. He's going to be pretty pleased with that first 45 minutes, Ray.
Yes, I think he will. To get off to a good start, as they have done, would have encouraged him no end. They haven't really had a lot to worry about defensively. They defended very well, but in saying that, Napoli really haven't pushed enough players forward to cause them any problems. And if they don't do so, then Sampdoria are going to coast to an easy win. But he must be very satisfied with the way the first 45 minutes has gone.
Well, Sampdoria started brightly, 1 or 2 early chances, then Napoli back into the game, but then on just after the half an hour, this marvellous moment from Ruud Gullit to set up the goal.
Yes, that's right. He's in a yard here, and Gambaro dives in on him, which he should never do. He's only got to stand up. It has to be said that there wasn't too many people helping him out as Gullit went past. And there's David Pratt sneaking in at the far post to aim a good header into the bottom corner. Yeah, once again, he's got no cover on him whatsoever, Gambaro. It's as if they've said, well, get on with it. You defend against Gullit. And that's it's fatal to do that, and he picks out a fabulous cross. That's a really great ball from Gullit.
Certainly underlining his tremendous ability, Ruud Gullit, the way he was able to beat his man in the box there to lay on the chance. Now here's Lombardo.
Yeah, it's a nice ball from Lombardo. He gets his head up early, sees Gullit breaking into the ball. I actually think Gullit slipped there as he went to hit it, but the main thing is he's hit the target. He's down into the floor, and the goalkeeper did his best to keep it out, but he's just cannoned off his body into the bottom corner. I think Gullit's looked impressive. He looks very, very fit, and he gives so many options. They can put balls in high to him. He's always prepared to work hard and run off the ball, and that's he really is a tremendous player to watch.
So what do you think Marcello Lippi has had to say to his players in the Napoli dressing room?
I hope that he's attempted to wind them up a little bit. After about 20 minutes, they came into the game and didn't look bad at all. They put Sampdoria under a lot of pressure and didn't look too bad. But as soon as the goal went in, I think you could see a few heads drop, and it was always very difficult for them from that moment onwards. But they've got to attack Sampdoria. I think we've seen on a couple of occasions that when they have done so, they've not looked too bad. And I'd like to see the Sampdoria defence tested just a little bit more, and especially that man in view there, Mr. Pagliuca.
Not really been stretched so far as Pagliuca in the Sampdoria goal. And the Napoli fans were hoping that'll be a different case in the second half. The 2 options for them on the bench. Bresciani among the substitutes, a striker. And also a young man called Fabio Pecchio. I gather we're going to see a lot of this season. Very promising player who's joined the club from nearby Avellino, a 3rd division side. So maybe he'll be featuring later on in this game. Di Canio. And there's also a youngster called Caruso, who's not on the bench for this game because he's out through injury, but we're told he's the new Zola. So we'll look forward to seeing him as the campaign progresses. There is Bresciani. Not had too much good fortune in the last couple of seasons, having to make his mark in this term.
Yes, I think if things don't go too well in the first 2 minutes, we could definitely see the introduction of Bresciani.
Ayla's intended pass, dealt with by Manini, then on from Lombardo to Gullit. Was casually laying it off then into the path of Lombardo, who has terrific pace. Couldn't get through this time. A 3rd goal now for Atalanta, home to Cagliari, and it's Maurizio Gantz who has increased their lead. A goal right at the start of the second half. Manini. Gullit. Lombardo. I wonder just how much, Ray, you feel that Sampdoria's gain of Gullit might be Milan's loss.
Yes, I still think there's a lot of football left in Gullit. I'm sad to see him lose Milan, because obviously that's the team that I do tend to favour in the Italian football. But I think Sampdoria really picked up a snip, as you said earlier. For £1 million in today's inflated prices, that really must be the snip of the season.
Not so much money to spend, though, now in Italian football. Such is the poor state of financial side of things in Italy. Now, Jar's turn, the Swede. This is Bia. A touch on from Busso, almost found Policano, who claimed handball. And the referee, just a few yards away, turned down his protest. On by Platt, good running again by Lombardo. Now Mancini. And how swiftly they've broken forward here. Sampdoria. Hullet, Mancini, thought about the return pass, and then released it. A little too late, really, for Hullet to take advantage.
I think that's going to be a really exciting partnership, that Hullet and Mancini. You saw there just a little bit of misunderstanding, but once they get that ironed out, I think we can see them two scoring loads of goals together with little 1-2s around the box. Very exciting prospect.
Maybe following in the celebrated footsteps of that great partnership, Mancini and Vialli, a couple of seasons back in the championship year for Sampdoria.
Yes, that really was a fantastic partnership, and it was a shame that that one was broken up. And there we see Politano, I think, getting a little bit frustrated with the way things are going this afternoon. And, a crunching tackle there, I think it was on the youngster Bocchino.
Yes, he certainly took the full brunt of that one. Bocchino felled by Politano, who has an aggressive reputation, to put it mildly. Quite rightly, he has received the yellow card. Well, the Napoli fans whistling now. They want Bocchino to receive his attention off the field. 2 bookings so far. Very, very warm afternoon. And Sampdoria setting the pace with those 2 first-half goals. Manini with the free kick. This is Tam with Di Canio. Showed too much of that to Lombardo. Mancini, off goes Lombardo again, tearing down that flank. He's a hard man to keep contained, Lombardo, and was really prominent in the championship season.
He is so fast, but he uses his ability as well. He gives the ball early and he goes for the return, and he makes positive runs, and it's very difficult for defenders. And I think that's why Lombardo is so effective. He doesn't do anything that he's not capable of. He just gives the ball and makes good runs, and he's very effective in this outfit.
Mancini, his tally of 15 goals last season was his best in Serie A. But often something of a lone figure up front for Sampdoria. Well, he's got support now with Rudhurit. And of course David Platt as well. Mancini with the free kick. Well played though by Tagliatella. Which is not easy to say. I wish they'd held on to Galli. Much easier.
I think you've done very well, mate. Yes, I think that last season, talking about Mancini, Peter, in a transitional season for Sampdoria, I thought he was absolutely superb. He scored 15 goals, but he must have made 15 as well. And his all-round contribution was a credit to himself.
Lombardo, all very tight in there. This is Bordin, then Politano, Carini. And ball, free kick taken for the wrong place. David Platt, the offender. 1 or 2 good runs from David, and of course the goal to seal his first half display. Goes Rossi. Strong and committed run. Politano. And Manini to whack it clear. Showing that Milan have scored now away to Lecce, and it's Boban, former Yugoslav, who has given them the lead. Hoping to get a run in the side in this campaign, Boban. Got Savicevic as well, and Van Basten to come back at some stage. Also Radicau, the Romanian. And also Laudrup on loan. Ryan Laudrup, that is. Or that by Naylor. As far as Manini. Napoli still struggling to find a way through this well-marshalled Sampdoria defence. Now beginning to show their frustration. For once, Hullet's control lets him down, but he has made his mark already in no uncertain terms. Naylor. Politano. Is Carini. Taking off his former teammate Jugovic. Ball too, founding Busso. Bjerkevon was there to steady things down for Sampdoria. Away comes Manini. No joy though for Mancini. Jonas Turn. Perini to Turn. Need to be positive here, Napoli. That's Gambaro. He's run though, checked by Lombardo.
There's good defending from Lombardo, dropping deeper there from his right wing position and making life very uncomfortable for Gambaro.
Gambaro, who can operate on either flank, but prefers the left side. His place might be under threat when Ferrara comes back with Franchini perhaps switching to the left side. Yet no real examination of Pagliuca's qualities in the Sampdoria goal. He certainly has those qualities when he is called upon. Chioni. Yes, Turn. With Bia. Sampdoria happy just to soak up this pressure, and then if they can catch Napoli on the break. Lombardo, and here's the break led by Mancini. Faced by Naylor. Mancini with the shot. And no problem for Taglialatella.
He didn't seem too keen, Mancini, on taking Naylor on. He's obviously come across him a few times and he realised that he probably didn't have the pace in which to go by him. But that was good play. It was a super run, a nice little ball from Lombardo, and that was good positive stuff from Sampdoria.
Policano. Couldn't get away though from Manini. Schillaci has scored for Inter, so they lead Reggiano now by 2-1. Tackled by Jugovic. Nothing wrong with that. Off goes Hullet. What a burst of pace then from the Dutchman. But right away from Bia and from Naylor too. And well, Naylor did well to get back at the end there.
Oh, what a run. What a run, Peter. Oh, Bia's no slouch, but he just brushed past him, and that's a fabulous challenge from Naylor in the finish, but that was Ruud Hullet at his best. Great stuff.
Electrifying speed. They left Bia for dead, and almost Naylor as well. Really good saving tackle by the veteran Napoli defender Naylor to rescue his team. They're still in all kinds of trouble, 2-0 down. That could have been more costly too.
It's time for a little change for Napoli, don't you? It's with Bresciani, they've been warming up for a good 10 minutes and he'll be itching to get on.
Bullet.
They don't really seem to have that much thrust up front.
Policano. Looking to make an impact now. Gambaro. Here's Policano. Busso. And Rossi was very cool and collected. Generally not a pass though. Should do now. Here's David Platt. Touched off by Mancini. Sampdoria slow it all down again. Evani, who's worked tirelessly and effectively too in the heart of the midfield for Sampdoria.
That was good play from David Platt, showing good anticipation and also great ball control.
Lombardo. Mancini. Here's Hullet. Found some space for himself. He had support too from David Platt. Here's Platt again now. Finding Jugovic. Hullet's waiting on the cross. Well-timed intervention though by Bia.
There we see that nice bit of skill from Policano to flick on, and Rossi was very calm, wasn't he? He took it on his chest and body.
He's been impressive so far, Rossi, in this problem role. The number 3 shirt for Sampdoria, playing the flat back 4. Mancini could make nothing of that. Ivani, here's Rossi. Good skill. Too long for Hullet, but he has the strength and the determination to chase it.
Good play again from Hullet. The ball obviously obviously overhit, but he gets there. And he was trying to keep it in the box, which is very important. Always keep the ball in the box, and defenders can't make challenges upon you. But in the finish, he got his corner that he was playing for. I think Mancini's dropped a little bit deeper as well. He's sick and tired of Francini picking him up all the time. He's gone into a slightly deeper role. So we could see the creative side of him come out.
Here's Mancini with the corner. On from Rossi. Almost filled that for Hullet. Pulled in, scrambled it clear. And let the shot charge down. Away by Turn. Nobody upfield though for Napoli. Manini, the last man for Sampdoria. Put up by Francini. Policano. Crowd urging him forward. Di Canio. It's neatly done. Still Di Canio. The whole posse of Sampdoria defenders facing him. Policano. Di Canio. It's a foul. Pioni.
Nice positive football from Di Canio, getting the ball down and attacking them on the edge of the box. I thought it was a very good challenge. Di Canio's got his free kick. He can count himself a little bit unfortunate with Pioni.
Now, what are the options here then for Napoli? Well, Carini, certainly dangerous on set pieces. Policano, as we know, possesses a thunderous shot. Maybe Carini, though, is going to curl one. Doesn't look that way. Turn there with him. There is Carini. So I was right the first time. Naylor. Gambaro. Positive signs anyway now from Napoli. They have to be ambitious now to get anything out of this game. Di Canio. What can his sorcery provide here? Bondin. Quickly closed down by Ivani. Turn to steer it on. All very tentative. Certainly nothing to trouble Sampdoria unduly.
Yes, it's all very nervy stuff, isn't it? Turn there. You would have thought a player of his experience, he would have been egging someone to try and get that ball whipped into the box, but it wasn't coming, and in the finish he played a rather tentative pass out the ground. I think we're going to see now the introduction of Bresciani.
Place of Policano. So he's taken one striker off, and that's the role that Policano has had today, and brought on Bresciani. Swapping one for another. The coach of Sampdoria be well satisfied with this score. His team still leading by 2-0. David Platt and Ruud Gullit, the scorers. And it was Gullit here who laid on the goal for David Platt. I think David's going to enjoy playing in this side, Ray.
Yes, I think he is. He's playing with some really talented players, and I'm sure once the combination of Mancini and Gullit takes off, we'll see David not only playing really good football, but getting forward and scoring lots of goals.
I'm sure a lot of chances are going to come his way. Nothing on though for Ruud Gullit this time, as the flag was up for offside.
Now, they do have a lot of talented players, Sampdoria, and players that can create chances all over the field, and I'm sure David will really profit from that. And not only will Sampdoria profit, but hopefully our national side will profit as well, because when you're playing with good players, as David is now week in, week out, I'm sure his game will pick up enormously, and hopefully that'll really put our chances of qualifying for the World Cup in a better light.
Didn't really get a regular run, a consistent run in the Juventus side, David Platt. Hopefully that won't be the case with Sampdoria.
Now, you have to be playing week in, week out to produce your best football, Peter. And when you're coming back and playing for your national side after not playing for 3 or 4 weeks, it's pretty difficult stuff. And I'm sure with an extended and a long run in the Sampdoria side, we'll start to see David really start to perform.
Well, Lippi, the coach of Napoli, hasn't really seen his side perform today. Just that spell in the first half when they threatened, but nothing much since.
It's a nice midfield section, isn't it? Ivani on the left, Lombardo on the right. Jugovic will sit in there all day for David so he can make those runs. And I think it's quite a nice little setup they've got there.
Mancini, as ever, taking the free kick for Sampdoria. Gullit. Mancini. Di Canio for Napoli. Good challenge though by Manini. Not much gets past him. Here's Hullet now. Ivani has made the forward run. And Mancini. Mancini with the shot. Good save. And again, a total breakdown in communication. Well, calm it all down, says Mia, but they're all over the place at the back there. Napoli.
Really excellent football. Mancini will be, I would say, pretty disgusted with himself that he didn't put Ivani in there. Ivani made a great run through the middle of the box.
Long throw was from Rossi. Up by Bia. Free kick in favour of Napoli.
Yeah, he made a great run into the box, Ivani, and Mancini just couldn't put him in, but that was really good football from Sampdoria. They look, especially going forward, a very talented side, but also they've added that work rate to their game. Everybody gets behind the ball when they lose it. They've been quite impressive.
In contrast, Napoli continually giving the ball away. Turn. He's found Gambaro. Frustration of the Napoli fans is certainly growing. Not too happy with what they're seeing out there. Ivani. Rossi in the way of Modin. It's a good signing, Rossi.
Yes, it does look a good signing. And Ivani can play at left back as well, so that's a good signing for them. They've got players that can really accommodate every position on the field, and they've got cover for them as well, which is a real bonus for them.
They've also got Sereno to come in. He featured in most of their matches last season, albeit often as a substitute. He's suspended today, so he'll be challenging for a place. Now there's Busso challenging, and he's forced the corner. And also Catanet's still on the staff. Haven't seen too much of him. I don't think he's played since about February, but he's fit again now. The Czechoslovakian player. Yugoslav, sorry. Canio. Canio again. It's a useful ball in. Again, no Napoli player on the end of it. That really has been the same story throughout this game. No one on the end of the crosses. Bia. Manini coolly away. Scorciani was marauding behind him.
That was a nice little ball into the box. I think Russo's had a bit of a go at him. He thought he should have played it into his feet, but it was a nice area in which he put the ball.
The Paliukas, and playing in confident fashion as Francini came forward. Ivani.
They really haven't put any quality into the box at all afternoon, and that's, I think that really has been their problem. Not getting players forward and not getting a good enough ball into the box.
Lombardo. Well, even Ray Wilkins wouldn't have tried one from there.
I can't kick it that far, Peter.
Come on, we saw that goal you scored against Liverpool the other night. That wasn't bad.
I had one the other week and it was easier than that, and it went a mile over the stand. But I think Lombardo actually saw the goalkeeper coming off his line slightly, and he tried to dip it over his head. I'd like to think that was the situation anyway, because it was a long way up.
Well, I didn't believe your goal. I went to adjust the set. Yeah. Carini. Di Canio. Second goal now for Torino, and it's Salenzi who has improved their situation. Torino away to Piacenza, one of the promoted sides. Turn. Yeah, the service, though, clearly lacking. And he's had a pretty easy afternoon so far, has Paliuka. His returned to Serie A duty after that very nasty injury at the end of last season.
Yes, I think you can safely say Sampdoria wouldn't really have been relishing the fact of going to Naples on the opening day of the season. They've called them on a good day. They've got a lot of injury problems and players away on international duty as well. But it's never an easy place to go, and especially the first day of the season, but they handled themselves very well.
As times have changed, teams came here in trepidation in the days of Maradona and Careca. Now Di Canio, this is promising from Napoli, pulled in. Luca again, though, making easy cash.
I think Bourdin would have been better hitting it first time. He didn't need the extra touch. It gave Rossi the opportunity to close him down, and therefore Bourdin had to miss him. Whereas if he would have played it first time, he could have pushed it around the back of the Sampdoria defence. But when you're nervous and a bit tentative, you tend to take the extra touch, and that's exactly what Bourdin did.
David back with the throw, finding Mancini. Hustled by Jonas Turn. He just got a foot in there at the last moment. Gambaro. Napoli badly need a goal now to give themselves any hope at all, really.
It's that midfield section I was talking about. All four of them on the screen there, Peter. Jugovic being fouled there. But they've been playing very well together. They support each other. And once a person goes past one of them, there's always another one there to make the challenge. And I think that midfield section could be very effective for them.
Certainly a very promising start of the season for Sampdoria, playing away from home, very much in charge of this game. A switch being made by Napoli, and they're going to bring on Fabio Pecchia. Gambaro is the player replaced. They have high hopes of him, as I was saying earlier. Doing very good pre-season. The crowd will be looking forward to seeing him as well. Manini. Touch off by Mancini. Bullet. David Platt. A foul by the England captain. Penalised by referee Pareto. Pecchia to Di Canio. Good shot, good save though by Pagliuca, right behind it. Also, certainly letting fly.
He took up a great position on Manini's shoulder here, Busso. Great first touch, and the volley was exceptional. But Pagliuca has shown us what a good goalkeeper is. It's very important the goalkeepers keep the concentration up. Pagliuca's not really been in the match, but when called upon, made a first-class save.
Manini with the free kick. Bullet making the run for him. Now Lombardo taking over. Jonas Turn. Still Sampdoria leading by 2-0. David Platt and Rogulit the scorers. And in truth, Sampdoria haven't been stretched too often at the other end. Preserving their lead. Jonas Turn. Canio taking the throw. He had his moments to Canio. Nice touches. Napoli looking a little lightweight without any genuine penetration around the penalty box. Rossi with the header away. Pecchia is hovering behind him.
Impressive first game, Rossi. That was good defending. He took up a nice position, a good covering position. Managed to get him the header away. He can be very happy with his first performance.
Di Canio will take the corner. Braccini has come up from the back. And Villa as well. Di Canio. Turn. No chance though of Brackley reaching that one.
This is sort of a bit hit and hope with Napoli. They don't seem to have any sort of rhythm going at all. When the ball's really in the box, it's not really picking people out. They're just whacking them in safe. Unfortunately, they don't look as if they're going to threaten Pagliuca much more this afternoon.
It's the early signs suggest they're for a long, hard season, Napoli. Jonas turn. Nail up. Yeah. Jacobon to come across and rescue Sampdoria. Looks to feature in the Italian side again this season. Jacobon seems to have been around for years. You've had a few battles with him, Ray.
I've never really been up that far to have a go with him, really, Peter. But yes, he's a very talented fella, and he's an exceptional defender. And while there's still life in his legs, they'll keep on using him because he really is a good defender. And when you've got young Bucchioni there coming into a side, what a player to play alongside Fiecchio.
Lombardo now stretching Napoli at the other end. Ivani with the cross, and Hullet so nearly then applied the finishing touch. Again, tremendous anticipation by Ruud Hullet.
Great football. Ruud Hullet is attempting to take the defender away from the near post. There you see him breaking off his shoulder. As the ball comes in from Mancini, Gullit darts across the front of him, and he's just a fraction away, as we think. As we saw him demonstrate with his fingers after he just missed the chance.
That surely then would have buried Napoli if that one had gone in. Napoli survive and still live in hope. Here's Bia. Busso made the run there, uncovered by Sampdoria. They thought it was going out of play. Wanted. Leon says the referee. Busso! And it was just beyond him.
Bucchioni was very fortunate there. He attempted to dummy the ball away and let it run, and he was very close to bringing Busso down. David Platz, here we go again, and as he lets it run, you see Bucchioni come across to let it run, and look, he body checks him slightly. In days gone by, I've seen penalties given in Naples for less than that, and I think David's taken a bit of a whack on the top of the foot. He kicked the underside of Bording's boot. I think he's in a bit of pain.
Well, let's hope that's not too serious with England's vital World Cup games coming up. Another Sampdoria player injured.
I think just taking a breather this one. It's been a hot old day, and I think these guys need a bit of a breather at times.
Rossi in trouble this time, and David Platt as well. Stefano Sacchetti, wearing 13, may well be joining the fray soon.
He's a big lad, Rossi. I can't really see what that would have poleaxed him like that.
Well, he has been substituted, so clearly he was injured in that skirmish. Getting a consoling pat on the back. Did well, Rossi. His first game in Serie A for Sampdoria. Having come from Brescia, remember. There's Carini now. Now Pagliuca should be his. Does look very strong in the air, Pagliuca.
Yes, he's a very good goalkeeper, got great hands, but they're playing right into Sampdoria's hands. They've got Bucchioni and they've got Fiecchio, who are just relishing the fact that they keep pumping those high balls in. There's no problem whatsoever for them.
Good to see David Platt is okay as well.
They really have worked very hard, Sampdoria, defensively. They all get behind the ball and work very hard indeed.
In goes Platt. Again, they've taken the sting out of the Napoli attack. Turn. Always so dangerous on the break, Sampdoria. Lombardo. Outsmarted though by Bordin. Here's Di Canio. Maybe their best hope, Napoli, of creating a goal. This time though, there's Ivani. Well, he's got through some hard work. Ivani again. Manini making the run for him. Crowded up though by Francini. Braccini to Platt. Pushed aside.
He's worked very hard, David Platt. He's been everywhere. Not only has he scored the goal, but he's worked very hard in that midfield. This is a good workout for him.
On it to turn. Braccini. Napoli's captain with a chance to go forward now, but not for long. He might get caught out of position too. Here's Hullet. Lombardo in the walls now.
Yes, we can actually see what happened there. We was watching Hullet. It's a shame Hullet couldn't keep him in play, because we could have seen one of those marauding runs of Hullet's down the line there, but bad first touch let him down. This is the situation. Oh, that's a pretty bad tackle from Di Canio, yeah. Catching Lombardo on the left leg. So, I think pretty painful, because once you've played the ball off, you don't expect to be hit, and that was the situation there. He went a bit relaxed, and he's taken quite a nasty knock.
But nothing really to throw Sampdoria out of their stride. It was Beer actually with the tackle, and he's received a yellow card for that. Rightly so. Whacking into the back of Lombardo. Bit of frustration creeping in there for Beer. His first game for Napoli in Serie A. Hasn't been a happy one for them. Pumped uphill then by Naylor. Rather hopefully. Nini always the favourite to head that one clear. The overhead kick from David Platt. Sampdoria with a chance to regroup again. It's hard to see how Napoli are going to conjure up a goal from this situation. Certainly won't at the moment, with Sampdoria attacking. Lombardo seems to be all right now. And we are forced to give away the corner. 10 minutes to go.
I think Lombardo getting his own back on Beer there. He raced onto that ball with tremendous pace and wins the corner for Sampdoria. It really has been, or has turned out to be, a very comfortable afternoon for Sampdoria. They seem to be playing the game at their pace, working really hard to prevent Napoli from doing anything. It's been a good performance from them.
Two missiles been thrown on the pitch as well to show the lack of patience from the Napoli fans. David Platt again with an excellent effort and goal there. Taken great delight from having scored that opening goal, David Platt. So anxious to prove himself in Italian football again. Did well with Bari in his first season. Certainly didn't all go to plan though with Juventus. Now he looks to be right back on top of his game with Sampdoria. Surprisingly, the pace has died down now. It's very, very warm. Pagliuca's in trouble, and it has to be a goal. Well, Bresciani can hardly miss from there. And, well, he's thrown Napoli a late lifeline.
My goodness, that was really slack football, wasn't it? Bresciani did ever so well reading the situation. Jugovic it is with the throw-in. Pagliuca comes out of his box to try to body check Bresciani, but he does well. He doesn't touch the goalkeeper. Pagliuca falls over and he walks the ball into an empty net. From a situation actually coasting towards victory, Sampdoria now find themselves in with a very, very dodgy last spell of the game. The supporters will get right behind them, and this is going to be a testing time for them now. A very, very poor goal.
And also unnecessary. And, well, look at the indignation, the wrath on the face of Sven-Goran Eriksson, the coach of Sampdoria. Bresciani with a goal for Napoli to make it 2-1. And all of a sudden, Sampdoria are in trouble. Right out of nothing. Dreadful lapse at the back. No other way to describe it.
I think that must have brought back visions of last season there for Ericsson. They gave away some sloppy goals last season, and that must be the sloppiest goal they'll give away this season. Dreadful, dreadful football.
Totally out of character for Sampdoria today. Certainly were aberrations last season, but they played very tightly this afternoon, hadn't given much away at the back at all. And now they put themselves under a bit of pressure.
Up until that point, I thought their performance had been really, really professional, and that really was really uncharacteristic of this afternoon's performance.
It's pumped fresh life into the Napoli legs, that's for sure. Marini, Bodin. Pacquiao. Too easily read there by Manini. Up from Jugovic, and he's found Olip. That's superb first-time pass. Mancini's up with him. Haddad made the run as well. Now Jugovic. We might be in for a dramatic last few minutes now. Stern. Revived hope for Napoli from an unexpected source. Manuka getting himself into a terrible tangle. Bullet. Taking off Braccini. Lombardo. Mancini, Lombardo. What a let-off then for Napoli. Glorious build-up by Sampdoria.
That really was super football, Peter, wasn't it? That's what I was talking about Lombardo earlier. He gives the ball and makes these devastating runs into the box. There he goes. Great pass from Mancini, which sticks him in. He may have been better off taking it first time. Sits the goalkeeper down, but unfortunately he can't finish it, and Bia gets back to take it away. That was excellent football from him.
Getty. Jugovic. 5 minutes to go. Sampdoria suddenly called on to show more urgency now. Mancini. They're looking to restore their 2-goal cushion. Mancini with the chip. Oh, a shake of the head from Mancini in the middle. And a card there for Bjerkebov.
Yes, I don't think Bjerkebov can really believe what's happened. He's had a super game this year. I've been very, very comfortable for them. Now they find themselves in with a really tough 5 minutes.
Getty comes away with it for Sampdoria. Via, Carini.
Amazing what a goal does, isn't it? Everybody wants the ball now. The pace of the game has been picked up by Napoli. That's incredible what a bit of inspiration can do.
It's really lifted the atmosphere in the stadium too. Turn to Carini. Too long for Di Canio.
It's a shame because Napoli get in some good areas, but they just don't appear to have that little bit of quality to pick out the final pass, and I think that's what's really let them down, especially now they're going for this equaliser with 5 minutes to go. They need that, just a little bit more quality to pick out the runner.
Well, Sampdoria really will be kicking themselves for allowing Napoli back into the game. Lombardo. Oh, he's been penalised.
Well, that's a dreadful decision, isn't it? There's two players muscling each other for the ball, and Lombardo wins it, and the referee gives a foul against him. Dreadful decision.
We are caught in possession. He's been brought back now. Free kick to Sampdoria. With the free kick. Up towards Hullet, too long though.
Eriksson won't be pleased with that. That's, again, a little bit unprofessional from Jugovic. There's a couple of minutes to go, put under a bit of pressure. He should have kept the ball. Just keep the ball from that free kick. They don't need to score another goal. They're winning the game 2-1, and what he's doing, he gives it straight back to them. Here's the man, Hooley. I don't think he'll give it away. There we go.
Sent Mancini away.
But that's good play from Mancini. He's taking it into an area where Napoli have got no chance of scoring. He'll keep it there for a few seconds. But that's what it's all about. When you're winning, you've got to win games. And there you go, he's got his corner. And it's vitally important that you're professional at times like this.
2 minutes left. Pagliuca's aberration giving Napoli a chance. They need the ball at the other end, and pretty soon too. Mancini with the corner. Missile's being thrown at him there. Bullet with the head up. Straight into the welcoming arms of Italia.
Just goes to show they've beat it with a bit of quality there. Mancini picking out Hulit. There was only 2 Sampdoria players forward, Hulit and Platt. Mancini picks out Hulit, and it's a bomb of a header straight at the goalkeeper.
Turn. This is Carini. Also won it at the air. Turn. Away from Hullet. Carini, as we move into the last minute of the game. Sacchetti happy to whack it anywhere. I think the flag was up anyway.
It's an anxious last minute for those Sampdoria supporters. Made that long journey. And now they've been put through this.
It's another late substitution just to lose a few more seconds. Salsano in his second spell now with Sampdoria. Returning to the club, just replacing Mancini.
He's a terrific little player as well. He's been around a long time now, and he's very experienced and a really good little footballer.
Audit with a throw. Giovanni sliding it on for Hullet. Lombardo was waiting in the middle. David Platt with Salsano. Still time maybe for Napoli to launch another attack. Di Canio. Now Busso. Carini. Bresciani. Taylor joining in the attack now. Sampdoria scramble it away. Audit chasing. Pagliuca holding on this time. Almost a minute then of injury time. Sampdoria not exactly hanging on. But nonetheless, they've given themselves a difficult last 10 minutes because of the slip at the back by Pagliuca from Jugovic's throw. Salsano. Now Manini. Jonas Stern. Up by Puccioni. And there is the final whistle. So Sampdoria have successfully held on to win their opening game of the season. Those 2 goals earlier from Platt and from Hullet, proving enough. Bresciani, though, giving Napoli late hope after the lapse of the back by Pagliuca. So a winning start, Ray, for Sven-Goran Eriksson's team, Sampdoria.
Yes, and I was quite impressed up until that horrendous blunder. I thought they were a very impressive outfit. They worked very hard for each other. They played with tremendous spirit amongst the team. They started defending from the front with Hullet and Mancini. Made it very hard for Napoli. And I was very impressed, and that's a good start for them. As I say, apart from that little mix-up with Pagliuca in goal, that would have been a very, very satisfying afternoon.
Thanks, Ray. That's it then from Ray Wilkins and myself. Let's now rejoin James Richardson. James.
Well, we promised you a tighter championship this year round. Unfortunately, we haven't got underway with quite such a neck-and-neck game this time round as last year. A good result for Sampdoria, not a bad one for my bank balance. Napoli, well, they'll be fervently looking forward to the return of Daniel Fonseca. And in the meantime, the one positive note for them has to be the lack of any trouble from the crowd here. You remember that a lot of the Napoli defeats last year were accompanied with impromptu bonfires here in these stands at the San Paolo. That's it from me. Let's catch up on the rest of these Serie A results on this first day of the season with Peter Brackley.
Now, these are latest scores. Atalanta are leading 5-2 against Cagliari. They've just got another late one there. Genoa 2-0 up against Roma. Lorenzini and Nappi with the goals. It's Inter 2, Reggiana 1, the latest score. Jonk on his debut, Schillaci and Padovano getting one back there for Reggiana. Juventus 1 up against Cremonese, and then an early goal from Andy Möller. In fact, the first goal of the day. I'm hearing these are now confirmed results, so Juventus have won that one by the early strike from Andy Möller. Lazio, of course, are playing tonight. Lazio against Foggia. The other latest scores there, Lecce and Milan. Milan a goal up. And that's the final score. Boban, the winning goal for Milan on 54 minutes. Piacenza have lost on their return to the top flight. 3-0 at home to Torino. Carbone, Silenzi, and then Poggi with a late goal there. And it's Udinese 0, Parma 1, Melli after 16 minutes. So those are the final results from Serie A this afternoon. Good start there for Milan, then the defending champions. I think already the early signs there, Ray, that Milan are setting out their stall. Yes,
that's right. They're a very powerful outfit, tremendous squad. And it's interesting to see that most of the big teams have won there this afternoon. And it's going to be a tremendous championship. And, you know, I think we're quite privileged to see some tremendous football here on Channel 4. And it's going to be a great season. Milan are the team to beat, but there's lots of teams out there wanting to do so. And it's going to be a really tough season for them and a good season for us.
Well, it's been an excellent day for David Platt. We can look back now on his goal, the first for Sampdoria this afternoon, and admire the skill here, Ray, of Rudhulit.
Yes, that's right. He's in a very tight area. He's a big chap. That's beautiful footwork. Bad defending by Gambaro. But that's the thing. He picks out the forward player, and there's David on the far post with a great downward header into the back of the net. A great start for David Platt and his new club. It's very important to watch as Hulit goes past, his head comes up immediately, and there's the inch-perfect pass.
So there we are, second goal from Rudhulit to add to that one. The late strike from Bresciani, giving some hope to Napoli, but at the end, Sampdoria holding on to win on the opening day of the season by 2-1 in the Sao Paulo Stadium. That's it then from our first offering of football, Italian football, live on Channel 4. Join us again next week, and don't forget Gazzetta next Saturday morning.
Campionato di calcio italiano.